got a new setup for YouTube. YouTube is changing, so we got to check these settings to make sure it's actually making it there real quick. Welcome back. Yes. Okay, so that shouldn't be too hard. Let's close that and use restream. Anyhow, OpenHours, welcome back. Let's jump back in where we left off. We'll try maybe start something else small as well. So looking at this here, something occurred to me before we tore into this, and we could have saved some time. This is keyed on the bottom, okay? So with this being keyed, this connection, I had this off yesterday a few times, and when I went to pull on this part, this never unplugged once. So indeed, our whole holdup, if we look, let's get this way down here so we can take a look. So we'll try and let this Sony operate. I believe you can do it. So we can see there's a ridge there, right? Inside this tube, or the connector for this mic. So that is the keyed out part that this cable, the actual mic pins, needs to connect. Or let's find the part that has the slot through it, right? So it should be right there. You can see that. Boy, this light's not being very friendly. Right there, we got a ridge. Right there is where the ridge is. And you can also see another mark where, so that's our actual, let's try and show it like, there we go. So here's our actual, where it should slide in, and then here's where it was actually forced in. So now that we have that a little more under control, let's put this back together the proper way without having to force it in there. Okay, so it slides in and out. That means we're hitting that key, that keyed part, and then we can go ahead and slide this in. And then we'll reconnect this to keep that whole unit together. And see if that makes a difference for how it plugs into our socket now that it wasn't forced together. Alright, so let's find, okay, so there it actually plugs on, and we can turn that bottom piece. This socket's on. So it seems like everything is ready to be plugged in. We need to put our receiver back together. And we also have to put this little metal ring back in. Right there, that has the ridges that should be the locking mechanism for this barrel connector. What is this? There's a name for it. The name escapes me. So let's put this back together first. We actually have to do some soldering. The wires came loose from our terminals black at the bottom due to that. Go ahead and get ready to get this stripped and solder this all back together. We're going to use our micro pencil for this one. Get it turned on, let it warm up a bit, and then we will sleep it. So right now we're going to try and remove some of the solder. Suppose we could use it, but why? Unless it's going to be impossible to heat up. No, it's going to heat up. Come, I just heard. Right, well, I'm going to work on this for a few minutes. All right, we did have incoming. Just stripping a wire, getting it ready for soldering back on there. This one seems like it's fairly connected fairly well. And then we also have to take a look at the video from yesterday. I just want to be sure of where everything goes. I'm pretty black with from memory, but memory is a highly inaccurate thing when dealing with your own with. Okay, so am I showing anything? If I do this, I don't think. Let's get up over the LCD. So here's the video in question. Black did go to the bottom, red to the top one. So that's what I was seeking. That's what I found. Let's go back to the repair. And I think I'm gonna turn the light on and dim it down just a little, just so I can see. We have our iron ready. We have our wire stripped. Let's take and strip the other end of this one. Just a little. Of a repair than I was anticipating. Hopefully we get this one done today. We had to switch out the micro pencil was just not heating up the solder enough to pull that big old blob off of there. So we went with something a little more reliable. You know what? I think we're going to trim that off. Instead of having a big wire hanging through the board, we'll trim it back a little. All right, reconnected. Let's sleep our iron and work on our battery compartment. So it was in there like that. And then we're gonna black to the bottom, red to the top. Not gonna be a whole lot of room, so we're gonna have to turn it like so. And yeah, we're reusing some of the solder here on this one. Let's add some to it. Does everything that's made have the unleaded on it? Be safer. There we go, right in there. We tin this one. Let's just throw some on it quick. Okay. Hopefully done with soldering for the day. Not my favorite thing to do. But we got to work our battery compartment in there while keeping our wires connected. And I think I'm going to have to move those wires, angle them slightly different too. Yeah, let's do that. We'll lift this piece up. Hopefully no other joints broke with any luck. And we'll set this back in, get ready to screw it in. We have 2 screws for it. And they're all the same. Or are they? Yes, they are. So we had one right here, and then one on the top part. Lift the U out of the way. Where's that other screw? There's not a whole lot of room to work in this thing. I'll give it credit for that. It is at the top or right there. So underneath the board. Alright, battery compartment back in. Let's get our wire out of the way and attempt to reseat all this, making sure our connections are, everything's still connected. So we have 2 screws to put in. One there, one there. We have our little wires to route over. We'll get those all tucked in. Let's get the screws in first and foremost. Find the dull one. We don't want to be chopping any of our insulation. Okay, looks good. Try and put this together. Oh, hold on. Bad move. Bad move. Okay, so we got to take a couple screws back out to get our pin in. There's probably no way to force it. Yeah, no. It's 4 screws. Let's just do it. We'll get it done. The pin for our battery cover is held in by the actual battery compartment. Pull that out and set our battery door in place. So we got that. Let it focus real quick. So it has a big long pin that roughly get it centered, and it should have nowhere to go. There's a stop up in here, like a little lip that keeps the pin from sliding upward, and then obviously the bottom of the unit keeps the pin that this hinges on from moving anywhere else. Now I think we're ready for reassembly. Forgot about the battery door. Start with the bottom. We got to get the one under the board. Alright, that's good. That's held in place. And let's reroute. These are all switches on the front. I'm trying to tuck the wires in here, and hopefully they don't pinch. That looks like it'll make it. Take care of our antenna wire. Now we also have to take a look at 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws that come through from the back. There's not one up in the corner, so we're not going to hook our antenna wire or our battery wire. So we should be good to go for putting our cover back on. I'm not liking that I can't see where the red wire is. Just to be sure that we didn't run a screw through it, I'm going to lift this real quick and check. No, it's back out of the way, and then the black one stayed up front. No. Safe. It's safe. I tell you, safe. Take 2, or 3, 4, whatever take this is. Let's figure out where it went wrong and get this all snapped back together. Okay, so that's got to go in. We need to move our wires out of the way so we don't cut our ground or power. Snap together the whole way around. And our battery door relatches like it should. Good on that aspect. Now we have to remember the batteries. I believe short. Let's check them. Long ones in the top and bottom. Let's check the side just to be sure. Yeah, that's no way that's burying in the side with how far it's sticking out. It's just not happening. So top, the long screws were in the top and bottom. Short ones left and right on the back of your body pack transmitter. I didn't say what this was at the beginning, but it's an ATWT 310. It's what we started yesterday in after hours, whatever version. So this is a two-parter. And I didn't check the obvious thing until today. I just took a quick look at it, unthreaded that thing, and was shocked that it didn't fall right out. Okay, so all that's together. Now we have to finagle this little metal coil. We got to get it bent to sort of around, and then I believe it sets down inside and fits to lock this piece in and this. I wonder if there's no way it would go in there. That's impossible. Or does it? Yeah, I don't see anything there. I don't have any round jewelry pliers or anything for bending curves, so we're just gonna have to go around something, perhaps a little smaller than open it back up a little. The exacto knife's right about the right dimension. And this is a little smaller. So let's do it on the tapered part. It'd be nice to know exactly where this goes. I know where it was when I got the unit, and was it something the owner had torn out themselves? I do not know. Let's try and respring that. Seems like it fits without bending too much going down over. So, is it close enough though? Close enough to fit back in there? That's what I'm wondering. No, I just don't see this being the answer, but we're gonna go to war and see if we can net any result. There's no way. Let's find out. Does this lock again? I'm going to take a moment and push that one part out. I don't want it getting caught underneath the barrel that's attempting to plug in and bending. I think that's in place now. I hope. Maybe we need to do both of them. They're both been out pretty far, but far enough for this I do not know yet. Plug it on. It's not locking. It is. No, it is. It's on there. Okay. There we go. Let's see if we can. And that little metal ring stayed down in there. Let's find this again. There's the key. And give that a twist. Yeah, sure. I'll take it. It's on. All right. So, a little bit of patience. We got it. We got it solved. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with me if you did. Just for reference, this was an Audio-Technica ATW T310 UHF transmitter, the body pack. I believe the antenna comes off as well, but we're not worried about that. Just this connector here was not connecting. Pins were bent, and overall it just wasn't working. We did also take the part for the earlobe, and I don't think they're using this particular part. I think they're going to get a double one, but this was just dead, falling apart, copper wire exposed. So I put a little piece of heat shrink around it. Hopefully let it. The copper's still in there. You can bend it, but yeah. With any luck, that should fit the bill. Let's What'd I do? Get it stuck. And that little ring's staying in there. Nice. Okay. Let's coil it up and get ourselves out of here for the day. Thank you for hanging out. If this kind of stuff is your thing and you know how to do it, somebody needs a hand, give them a hand. Fix their stuff, make it great again, make it work. Save it from the landfill. Have a good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is wherever you are. I will see you tomorrow with more fun. Two-parter for this one. Sorry about that, but sometimes that's what it takes. See you next time.